was struggling?
I don't know. There's some big misses early on. I don't think that helped. Similar to the last outing, I thought he got to 2 strikes a few times and wasn't able to kill the at-bat. Just some big misses. It didn't set up the next pitch, and obviously the pitch count got way up there real quick. Just wasn't his best night. He's definitely had better nights than that tonight. Tonight was not his best.
After Gunnar hit the home run, there was no offense. Were you kind of surprised that was it for you?
Yeah, and back-to-back nights like that, probably not what we would want. There's a lot of pressure on those top 5 guys to create something. I just think with where the roster's at and where the lineup's at, there's a lot of pressure on those first 5 guys, and they're going to live up to it, and they're going to have better nights than they did tonight. You got to tip your cap a little bit to the A's pitching. I mean, they're not names that are familiar by any means, but it's good stuff. This team over there on the other side, they're not that far off. It's a couple really good arms they threw at us. The starters the last 2 nights.
What do you feel like the wheels kind of fell off there in the 5th?
In the 5th?
When the 2 relievers, Geraldo and Martin, gave up the...
Again, just with where the roster's at and the configuration, there's going to be good nights and there's going to be bad nights. You start to think about, the opening day roster and how many of those guys are still here, right? And a lot of the guys that are here now started in AAA. So they weren't in the big leagues because they had things to work on, and now they get thrusted into the big leagues. So with that, once they get here, there's going to be some tough nights. There's going to be some really good moments, and we've seen that since the roster kind of turned over, and then there's going to be nights where they get beat up. And that's just going to be part of the deal here for a little bit until they get more experience and more time and are able to slow the game down a little bit.
How have you balanced, and maybe not just you, but the team kind of balanced the emotions in the dugout, perhaps, when you realize that there's going to be some nights that get away from you?
Yeah. Tonight was not a good night. As you sit through that game, and those are the games we do not want. You go in there and you play your butt off and you lose a 5-3 game, a 5-4 game. I think those are going to be the good bad nights, I guess, so to speak. But when you play through those games, right, like that, that's not good. We're sitting there trying to figure out, the pitching for today, and then leave ourselves enough to win a game tomorrow. We're going to use Vasquez, going to bring the shortstop into pitch, all those scenarios. And I hope that we don't have a lot of those nights. And I do have some faith that with what we have, and I'm hoping those are going to be few and far in between. But when you are going through them, they're not fun.